minutes. It seems like this is comparable to like when the men's basketball team was ousted early.
Yeah, I also think it's very similar to when the United States men's national team failed to qualify for the World Cup. I think this is a watershed moment for the U.S. women. I took some criticism about 6 years ago when I said when the footballing countries and nations around the world put their resources, but more importantly, their brains behind it, the gap's going to be closed. And everyone thought I was crazy. I get it. They've won the last 2 World Cups. I get that. But everything for the U.S. women's been relying upon fitness and athleticism. In this World Cup, technical, tactical, they were completely outdone. It was obvious. They didn't score a goal for 238 minutes. You are the number one nation in the world. That's inexplicable. So now this is the watershed moment. However, insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. And so I think top to bottom, the United States Federation on the women's side has to look at development. They have to look at the collegiate part of it. They have to look at development within the professional leagues. Are the professional leagues developing the players the right way? Is technique a huge part of it? Or is it just about being bigger, faster, and stronger than the other countries? It's not going to work anymore. And this Women's World Cup has exposed the failure of the United States women to develop. And this generation, I think, did not carry on the mentality winning comes first. Everything else is secondary, and I think some of that criticism has been correct on that.
I saw Carly Lloyd after the previous game received a lot of criticism for what she said. You defended her on your podcast. She retweeted it. What was Carly right in a way, or?
That's a great question, right? Carly Lloyd has taken some criticism. First off, I'm going to defend her because she did her job. Very few athletes immediately when they leave playing and get into the world of media, they're too reluctant to have an opinion. Good on Carly Lloyd. She had an opinion. Whether I agree with her or disagree, it doesn't matter. She's as close as anyone to that group. So if she wants to talk about mentality, if she wants to talk about the energy of the group being all about winning, she's going to know more than me. So I'm going to have that conversation. I'm going to listen to her. Now, my media personality will tell you it's difficult to critique from the outside someone's mentality wanting to win. So I can't do that. But Carly Lloyd was on the 2019 team. She's part of this group. So she just retired. She can if she wants to. And I think it's telling that she did. I really think it's telling that she brought it up because what we saw during the World Cup kind of backs Carly Lloyd's opinion.
Last thing for you, everyone's going to want to know how to fix this. How does this women's team fix this? Any ideas? How do they move forward and make sure this doesn't happen again 4 years from now?
I think they've got to look in the mirror and understand that developing young players on the U.S. women's side now has to be tactical and technical, and it can't just be athletic. I think the most important part to this is the profile of the U.S. women's player. It has to change, and it has to change within the younger groups, within the youth. And then that way, when they go through college, they get to the NWSL and they get to the U.S. women's national team, it's a different profile. I think the sooner the older generation is out, I think the better, and good for the women that the Summer Olympics is just around the corner. But they've got to make some interesting decisions. First and foremost, that will be with the head coach. But I don't think that is a complete fix of the problems within the federation. It's a quick fix, tactical, to help this team grow. But the development of the player, technical, that's got to change universally throughout the federation. It's difficult to put into words, which is not great coming from the lead commentator for Apple TV, to be honest with you. So the fact that I'm struggling to find words, I said this during the broadcast. There's about 4 athletes, I think, in our lifetime where the expectations at a certain level and they over deliver. Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, Muhammad Ali. I think Lionel Messi's in that conversation because not just what he's done in Major League Soccer in recent time, but every single time the expectation level is for him to deliver, he supersedes it. And it's a little surprising to me he's still doing that at 36. And yet I should remind myself and everybody else, he just won a World Cup at 35 years old. So he's continuously surprising me. I think he's exceeded his expectations in MLS, but he delivers every single time he steps on the field.
Talk about the free kick. Uh, it's like playing a video game. It's literally like you're playing a video game with Lionel Messi.
Yeah, what's interesting is I think the Hollywood scriptwriters are on strike, and yet someone wrote a script for Apple TV for Lionel Messi and Inter Miami, and he's delivering it. It's amazing that for anyone that just started to pay attention to Messi, they're going to think every single time he steps up to take a free kick, it's going to go into the back of the net. Now, the interesting part to all of this is it started with bend it like Beckham. Now it's bend it for Beckham because Lionel Messi is playing for David Beckham's franchise in Miami. He's been unreal when it comes to these set pieces. But this one 6-7 hours ago, as it's early in the morning here in Dallas, that one is going to be difficult to beat because that was a comeback. That was last second again. You get the first one for the game winner against Cruz Azul, but this one again, after being down 3-1, 4-2 to tie the game to go to penalties, dear Lord.
What next for this team? How can they continue this? How far can they go?
They can win a trophy. I think it's still a long shot. And I know people listening to that and seeing that are going to say, wait a minute, what are you talking about? They're in the quarterfinal. But the truth of the matter is this team gives up a lot of chances. Defensively, they're very vulnerable. If they pull off the miracle and win the tournament, it's going to be one of the more lopsided upsets I've ever seen. And I know people think that's disingenuous, but it is. I get it. Lionel Messi and Busquets just showed up, but this is the worst team in Major League Soccer regular season. So in the blink of an eye, you're going to win a trophy. I think they can get to the final, but I think the semifinal and final are going to be the two most difficult games if they get past the quarterfinal here. Yet the quarterfinal's at home, so it wouldn't surprise me if they get to the final four.